Hello, Marvelites. Welcome back to another entry in the MCUExchange podcast. We are already on episode 56. It is insane.
Yeah.
Year 2 going strong. We got some great news bits today. Sadly, Aaron can't make it again, but we're hoping to have him back soon. We're going to get into some great news, some interesting reveals this week, some small little tidbits, and we have a big trailer to talk about. After a long wait, over a year, finally we got to see some footage from Eternals.
Yeah.
So, hey, let's just jump right into it and start off with pretty much the latest news we got is that Marvel Studios has been reshuffling their calendars. We got a big Welcome Back Cinemas trailer from them that gave us the reveal about, Black Panther is titled Wakanda Forever, the Marvel titles reveal, and every lineup up till 2023. But most of us know that there was a little film that was supposed to release in October 2022 that kind of got sidelined and now suddenly is pushed back by an entire year. They also pushed a November release in 2023 by a week, but all signs seem to point that the October 2022 release originally could have been Blade, as there have been discussions, such as published on comicbook.com, that they're still actively looking for a director, and that's being pushing back the production a bit, which was originally going to start later this year. What are your thoughts on it, Charles?
I'm kind of indifferent. Not that I'm not excited for Blade and whatnot, but it's kind of like with all the stuff that's happening, like the hype for Blade isn't anywhere ready to start yet. I mean,
Yeah.
they did sort of like give an update about weren't they like this beginning like the writing process like last month, and
Yeah.
so it's very very early in the process. Maybe they want maybe Kevin Feige wants to maybe take a breather on this and take it slow, do it the right way, and not just rush it amidst all the stuff that they have planned for next year. And I mean, next year's gonna be fucking huge for the MCU, and this year alone is already like every month we're gonna get something MCU related. So
Yeah.
I think Kevin Feige just wants to take a breather, focus on what you can do better with Blade. Maybe Mahershala Ali is maybe too busy next year or maybe this year, so maybe he wants to accommodate that. But I'm not that affected by it.
Yeah, I agree, especially with considering Blade was actually an actor's pitch that Ali pitched them. They're gonna try to focus to get the best product out and pinpoint what's the direction, and rather not rush this project out, especially with rumors. Oh, are they gonna go PG-13? Are they gonna go R-rated? Anything can happen, and I think it's a smart idea to kind of go this direction, to kind of give it some time, especially with this year. We have, as you pointed out, we have July with Black Widow, we have September with Shang-Chi, we have then November with Eternals, and December with Spider-Man No Way Home. It's going to be a very busy year, just the last half year now.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's like this month, and like this month's the only month that we're getting a breather. Like the
Yeah.
rest of the year is gonna be like fucking crazy.
It's going to be busy for fans, writers, moviegoers, especially now that the pandemic, that the vaccines are going around. It'll be interesting. It's going to be an exciting year. And then next year, Thor: Love and Thunder, Doctor Strange 2, all the Secret Invasion rumors maybe potentially coming out next year or the year after. Oh, there's so much on the pipeline. It's going to be busy in a good way.
Yeah.
Speaking of craziness, I think Spider-Man No Way Home might be the weirdest film in production right now, because there's just way too many rumors going around about what's happening, who are the villains, what characters are involved, multiversal shenanigans, old Spider-Man's coming back. It's gotten a little insane. And now, just because, who needs a break from all that? We have more rumors kind of confirming we'll get the Sinister Six in the upcoming film, but they will mostly consist of versions of these characters from other films.
Yeah.
That includes the already confirmed Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus from the original Spider-Man series from Sam Raimi. Jamie Foxx kind of confirmed after it was reported by Hollywood Reporter that his version from The Amazing Spider-Man's returning. And to add on to that, we have The Amazing's Lizard and Rhino making a return. and the original Spider-Man, Sandman alongside Green Goblin, who, with rumors already pointing out that Willem Dafoe was cited on the set. That's an insane cast up. Now we still have to take it with a grain of salt. This was shared by host Jeff Snyder on the Collider podcast, the Snyder Cut. And what do you think about all this? Where are you with these rumors that have been going around quite a bit?
I'm on board for the Sinister Six showing up. I'm
Mm-hmm.
kind of mixed on the fact that they had to be multiversal characters and not homegrown people that Spidey inevitably brought up.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of a bummer. Like, oh man, it's not the villains Peter Parker knows about. It's gonna be villains he's never heard of, he's never encountered, and it's I guess it's gonna take away the journey of how, because I like the thing I love about supervillain is that they're in many ways created by the hero.
Yeah.
Like they happen as a response to the hero, and the fact that we're not getting any villains from the MCU per se to respond to Peter Parker here, it's a bit of a bummer. But it's I'm curious how they're all gonna look like. Jamie Foxx did tease at some point that he was getting like an overhaul visually. He's not gonna
Yeah.
be the same blue guy. Maybe they do the same for the lizard, because I did not like how the lizard looked like. He looked like a fucking. It
His
looked like
man face.
it looked like those fucking Koopa Troopas in the old Mario movie, which
He
wasn't
did.
which wasn't good at all. And I didn't like how the Rhino looked like in Spider-Man 2. It looked like a
Mhm.
big fucking iron. It looked like Ironmonger,
Yeah,
and
it
I
did.
kind of
Yeah.
want a more, I guess, practical Rhino look. So I am excited for that, at least for how Green Goblin's gonna look like. I hope they ditch the Power Rangers look and give him actually like a Goblin look. I mean, obviously Kevin Feige is somewhat manning the ship creatively, so hopefully we get something more classic. But beyond this, like I do not know what kind of Sinister Six we could get homegrown now that Peter Parker's gonna he's gonna face a multiversal Sinister Six.
That's the big question is like, how are these? Because this isn't like if this were just villains from one universe, let's say, it would be a simpler tactic. But it's literally two different universes colliding into one, and we have no idea about the details of these characters, how they fit. I think the first trailer for this film, is going to have to do a lot of legwork to sell people on the concept.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a little tough, and I mean I'm excited about the concept. Sinister Six, I mean, it feels a little bit like Sony told them we want all these villains in here.
Yeah.
I I'm curious about like I remember the line of Kevin Feige saying that Spider-Man's the only one who can cross cinematic universes. That it slowly feels like we're going in a direction that maybe this entire production or this direction was also mitigated to kind of appease Sony and maybe give them like, okay, we have three Spider-Man. You can choose one of these two, and we get to keep Tom Holland, and we'll do our shit, and you do your shit. Which I have nothing against if that means Venom and the new Craven announcements with Aaron Taylor Johnson is like its own thing with its own Spider-Man, just to kind of give Marvel Studios their own stuff to do, and they can cross over at a later point again if they really want to. It just sounds like a lot. And as you say, it's like these are characters that he didn't introduce. There's no Green Goblin in this universe right
Yeah.
now that we know. There's no Norman Osborn, who is like the classic representation of a Spidey villain. I'm a little nervous myself as well. My personal hope is that either like I hope he doesn't get like a memory wipe at the end if whatever happens, and then we're like, oh, who's this character, and they just reintroduce the lizard. I'm curious how they're gonna do it. If they ever reintroduce one of these characters, it would be a fun way to be like Spidey knows who they are before they even become who they are. I think that could be a really interesting concept to explore, like Kirk Connor being his college professor, and he kind of knows that he would become the lizard, and he tries to prevent that from happening.
Mm.
That could be an interesting thing to explore, but for now it feels a little messy without having the actual full picture, just because most of it's just rumors.
Yeah, it is gonna be interesting to see how Peter deals with the possibility of the Sinister showing up in his own world, knowing that he has fought the interdimensional versions of them. I do wonder, because That's something Peter would do, like stop something from happening. Oh, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I fought the alternate version of you. I hope you don't end up being like that. And of course, he ends up making that happen anyway. It's pretty much, it pretty much fits the Parker luck,
Yeah.
the, the iconic Parker luck from the comics. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting to see how they move on from this moving forward.
Especially with, I like the thing that has me excited about the multiversal aspect is the irony from the ending of Far From Home, that Mysterio was just bullshitting and saying it's a story anyone would believe nowadays, and then it turns out to be true.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad no Mysterio. I kind of hope he survived the events from the last film. Who knows? Could still happen. I would love to see a short shot of him going, "What the fuck is happening?" It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see how it moves forward. Though, speaking of moving forward, I'm working on those transitions here. We had an interesting Disney Plus announcement, kind of just randomly dropped in a Hollywood Reporter article about the top entertainment lawyers. And there was a line that Dana Gurira, I apologize if I said the name incorrectly, where it was pretty much confirmed that Okoye, her character from Black Panther, is getting her own spin-off. Now, to top that off, reports were also claiming this isn't the Ryan Coogler Wakanda series that was talked about. This is a completely new project. What did you think of that a kind of sneaky announcement?
I like Danai Gurira. I like how she plays Okoye on screen in many ways. I kind of like Okoye to be the next Black Panther more than Shuri.
Yeah.
Letitia Wright just hasn't captured me that much as Okoye. Plus, in Infinity War, Okoye is the one who sees T'Challa disappear, and she's the one who walks out with T'Challa during the portal scene. So Okoye is in many ways sort of T'Challa's right hand person more
Yeah.
than Shuri. And Danai just brings such a great presence to her on screen that, man, it'd be fucking great if just she was the Black Panther instead of, Letitia Wright who doesn't believe in the vax. So
Mm,
just that alone, I can get behind fucking Danai, and she's just such a great actress, and I would love for her to be on the spotlight some more. I mean, if we're not gonna make her the Black Panther, I know they're not because that's not in the comics. But since we're not doing that, then I would be on board for maybe an origin story for her. I'm game for that.
yeah, I think an origin story could be interesting to also explore her relationship with Kivai, I think his name was. Danu Kaluuya's character from the series from the film. So many Marvel projects, it's hard to say which one anymore.
Right? Yeah.
It that I think would be really really interesting to explore, and I agree with you. I think there are two candidates for me for Black Panther. It would be Okoye or M'Baku.
Yeah.
I just think M'Baku was a great character, and he would like the relationship they built up in the first one, who was also a complete reinvention of the original character. I think he would deserve it. It would be an interesting kind of holding his promise to T'Challa and helping continuing in this and kind of paying back to the first one. Ironically, I kind of get the feeling that whatever they do with Black Panther Wakanda Forever, I kind of would love it if you have multiple Black Panthers in that as a tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
That it's not just one individual, but these multiple suits. So it's not really like, oh, this is the true successor, but it is Wakanda that's successing it, which creates its own mess, to be honest. But it would be an interesting direction to take.
Yeah.
Who knows what they do? Do you have any theories what the Wakanda series could be from Ryan Coogler?
I hope it's like because I've been reading Agents of Wakanda, the comics,
Mm,
and it's just basically like a team of it's not necessarily even all Wakandans, but it is definitely Wakandan sponsored, like a Wakandan sponsored superhero team.
hmm
I think that's a pretty interesting way to go. You get to include characters that are not necessarily from Wakanda while keeping it Wakanda centric at least. You got Gorilla Man, you have Kazar, basically all cool characters that fit that world. And I guess that's what I want. That's what I want to say. I guess they could also do like like a more historic version of it where you see the Black Panthers of the past, and it's like a history lesson on what Wakanda is
Mm.
all about. I would be on board for that as well, but Agents of Wakanda is a bet that I would like to do.
Any excuse for them to bring back T'Chaka that amazing design from the film's opening.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sweet. No, I like that idea. I think there's so much potential. It's funny if you think about that we had Agents of Shield. We technically have Sword now. We also have the rumors of Agents of Atlas. How many Agents show are we gonna have at one point from Marvel?
All of them except Agents of Shield.
Well, true. That's not quite official anymore. Speaking of agents and all that, we have the upcoming Nick Fury led show, Secret Invasion. And now that's been busy casting some big names. We got Khaleesi from Game of Thrones joining. We have a lot. I mean, it's been a lot of actors been counted down. And it didn't end because a few days ago, we got the announcement that Christopher McDonald, who I think many will remember as Shooter McGavin from Happy Gilmore, has
Classic.
also joined the project. Classic character, dude. If he has that same sense of humor, I'd love it. Any tribute to that film is going to be hilarious. But the 6-year-old character, 6-year-old actor, is actually playing a originally created or a completely new created character in the series. Their production is looking for a Tucker Carlson type anchor role or even a European spy. What is your guess who he might play?
Kind of seems like, at least from the trade report, that he's playing. Like it kind of sounds like he's gonna be like a major, I guess, character here, and not just a
Yeah.
recurrent one. So you think that he might be like a counterpart to Nick Fury, like the spy I mentioned. But then again, if you think of Shooter McGavin, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
He does kind of fit the Sean Hannity, Tucker Carlson sort of anchor that they're going for, and I could see that being a recurring role throughout the MCU, where we just see some fucking white man report crazy stuff, similar to J. Jonah Jameson in Far From Home.
Mm.
But I mean, regardless, I like Christopher, and whoever he's playing, I'm gonna be fucking glad just to see him on screen.
Same. Great. I think he just really knows how to personify those characters. I think a news anchor would be a really interesting choice for him, especially if we're talking about Secret Invasion and the era of fake news and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That could be really interesting to play with. I kind of would love, I don't know why, but him being Del Rusk. Now that would have been a cheeky thing, especially with Secret Invasion and Secret Identity and all that.
Yeah. I mean, Del Rusk is Red Skull.
Yeah, that would be a really interesting random addition.
Red Skull, they really go with the Del Rusk, and I think they can get away with it.
It's just the true Secret Invasion was freaking Red Skull leading the Skrulls. Now that would be crazy though,
Yeah.
especially after the events. We have no idea what's happening to him since he's kind of freed from the Soul Stone. But whatever, Christopher McDonald, great addition to the cast, which is already an amazing looking cast so far. We got one more piece of news, and this is interesting. We got a little production update for Ant-Man 3. Actually, just recently, Michael Douglas revealed that he will start filming in 3 weeks. He already has his Hank Pym goatee. Kind of funny that kind of became an iconic aspect of that character in the MCU. Still want him to wear an Ant-Man suit again. But we found out from director Peyton Reed they are filming in the Mandalorian's volume. That's an exciting thing. I think we're going to see a lot more productions utilize that technology. It's pretty much the next step from the green screen to have actual interactive environments or surrounding the actors, get a bit of fear for what they're doing. Are you excited to see Ant-Man 3 film in that?
I am curious what that's gonna look like, because I was hoping to see some of the D plus shows do that, and the Marvel D plus shows, and so far we haven't seen any. I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure if Loki did get to do that, or if any of the Hawkeye, Moon Knight stuff is using the volume. So as far as I know, I think Thor 4 and this one are the films confirmed to be using this. So it'll be exciting to see what that looks like and how it looks like actually on a cinematic level, because as great as The Mandalorian is, it is a streaming show at the end of the day, and they have a streaming budget. So I am curious what the volume would look like with a fucking tentpole 200 million budget.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what it looks like.
I have the theory that either they're going to use it for the quantum realm, which I
Ooh,
could see programming that would be a lot,
yeah.
or potentially they'll also make the miniature, they make it more practical to film shrinking scenes. to not be too CGI heavy.
Yeah.
They could do a lot. I still wished. I think Quantum Mania kind of hints where they're going. I really was hoping Ant-Man 3 would turn into like a kaiju tribute. That would be hilarious. Just a
Yeah.
giant freaking lizard accidentally grown three times the size. But it's going to be exciting how the technology is going to evolve, especially with films working on it, and how far we go. As long as we can't spot it while watching the film, right?
Yeah. Plus, yeah. I mean, I just thought about this now. About I just thought about this now. About the idea that they're using the volume is gonna save them a lot of money, save them a lot of problems with filming on set, and obviously spoilers.
Yeah.
And it's like the best. It's like Marvel's best option right now.
I think we're definitely going to see it more moving forward as well, especially if they're going to hide stuff, because the amount of set photos that have gone online revealing appearances and stuff lately may have gotten them a little nervous. So I could see that being a natural reaction or evolution step to hide at least big name cameos. And with that, we pretty much got through all the big news stories from last week. I think there's one big thing we need to talk about: the Eternals trailer. Yeah, we finally got a feel for what Chloe Zhao's film is going to be like. A little tease of the story. It was very much a teaser trailer. What did you feel about the trailer?
I mean, it's kind of like when I was watching it. Like as soon as the trailer ended, I was like, "All right, that's a trailer, all right." It doesn't get me. Maybe because I've been an MCU fan since fucking 2007, 2008.
Mhm.
So my excitement has been tempered for the most part. Like nothing's gonna get me like, oh my fucking gosh, this is wild. I feel like my expectations for this aren't super high because I'm not that crazy for origin movies anyway. I know people like to hype origin movies. Then you have something like Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel, which they're not bad by any means, but they're also not like the greatest things that people hype them up to be. And my expectations for this are somewhat the same. I know Chloe Zhao just won an Oscar, and I know her thing is like filming stuff on set, practical, natural lighting, golden hour stuff. I mean, you could see some of it here, but beyond that, it's kind of like, all right, looks like a nature show Marvel movie. But but I mean, we because it is a teaser, so we don't have much to go on as far as story beats and whatnot. So it is hard for me to get excited. It's not bad by any means, but I'm not that super hyped for it. I tweeted that I was mostly whelmed by the trailer, and I think I still am. Like a week after.
I feel something similar, that the trailer itself, what I do like about it is that it feels visually distinct from the rest. And I think that it feels like the moment when you saw Taika Waititi's colors pop as much as they did, this is a bit more muted. I've seen a lot of criticism regarding it being a little too dark, though I feel like that the trailer itself was more muted than the last. We got like a little snippet in that, that cinema trailer where it was way better lit. But what I like about the concept personally is the fact that we're exploring the MCU history. It
Yeah,
just feels like, because this is the thing, I generally always wanted to see a documentary kind of exploring the history or geography of this really unique version of our own Earth with heroes and everything in it. I still really want to see the New York City get shaped up and one day have Shadowland like as a district in it, and like really make it a unique world to live in. So us exploring the origins of Celestials, then their creation of the Eternals and the Deviants, how that influenced, the Age of Heroes with the Easter eggs of like a guy running around with a middle-aged, or during Babylon with like a Captain America looking shield because there's a star on it.
yeah,
There's a lot of concepts here that I find really, really interesting, and I hope they explore it. But I'm a little nervous about how do you get millions of years or centuries of history into one film and make it cohesive.
yeah.
That I'm a little nervous about. But at the same time, I think they're not going to focus too much on it. For some reason, they're still hiding Black Knight a lot. Kit Harington is in the trailer, but they're keeping him a secret. So I'm curious, how big is his role really? He's kind of an and in the. So it's going to be interesting. But I have to say, the cast looks amazing.
Yeah.
The outfits could be a little bit more colorful if you compare them to the original, but at the same time, I feel like they feel like a natural adaptation of what are very wacky comic panels back in the day. Like they popped differently than nowadays. It's gonna be really interesting. I think Eternals is just a concept that can work really well on silver screen.
Like for me, like part of that's the reason why I'm also not appealed. I'm not appealed by the idea that these people didn't do anything while fucking Thanos destroyed the planet.
Athena's cousin, right?
And then all of a sudden it's time to go out, and then we see them helping people. It's like, who gives a fuck, bro? You fucking if you weren't around when shit went down, suddenly you guys are patting yourselves on the back for going out and helping people. It's like it's not. You guys are fucking late. So that definitely doesn't help with me not getting excited. It's like, really? And it's so funny. I've seen some people make hilarious comments about how they just basically colonized all these people, and it's kind of like,
Yeah,
yeah, I guess you kind of did.
they did. Yeah.
So I'm curious how that's gonna shape up. Maybe it ends up being totally different, but just from that trailer alone, it's hard for me to get excited for these kinds of quote unquote heroes giving themselves a pat on their
Mm.
back. Richard Madden makes the joke, well, maybe I should join the Avengers. It's just like, yeah, no, fuck you.
Yeah, that post-credit sequence was really awkward. I think it would have been better without it.
Yeah.
Keep the mystery alive of where it takes place. Especially because they're obviously aware of the existence of the Avengers. Icarus, is arrogant enough I can lead them, but they probably never interacted once in their lifetime. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, where's this coming? I don't even know if that's, we don't know if that scene will stick in the film. It can always just be something they filmed for the trailer. We've seen that in the past. They do film a lot of like extra sequences to throw people off. I think I've been seeing a lot of people theorizing they lost their memories at one point for some reason. And that's why they didn't get involved. I just love the irony of this trailer being like, we never intervened in human history. And that's all they do in the trailer.
Yeah.
The
So funny.
entire time they're
So fucking wrong.
intervening. So either that's supposed to be ironic and trying to make a joke out of it, which is awkward. Something's missing, and I think that's the intrigue of this trailer is that okay, how does this really fit into the wider universe? How do you make a franchise like how does Eternals fit at all? I kind of was hoping we get a little bit more info on, for example, are the Eternals also related to the Asgardians, who are also human shaped, aliens who live thousands of years? There's a lot of questions in this universe that this film could answer. And I kind of would be sad if they don't try to at least approach why so many humanoids exist throughout the galaxy of Marvel. Because
Mm,
even most of the aliens are humanoid. They're just different skin tones.
exactly.
It's going to be interesting, especially with. Do you think Eternals will tie into any other project? Do you think we'll see the Eternals pop somewhere else?
That's the big question mark for me as well. Because if I'm not mistaken, none of them really have any strong connections to the Avengers
Yeah.
or like the mainline Marvel crossover events to begin with. Maybe Black Knight is like your best bet, and maybe Cersei, but beyond that, they've pretty much they're their own thing. But you never know. Maybe this becomes the biggest movie on the planet, then obviously they're gonna fucking find ways to make Richard Madden hang out with the Avengers at some point. But currently, as it stands, it's kind of like a big question mark for me as well.
The trailer did break, I think, even Black Widow's viewing record. It's the highest watched Marvel Studios trailer since
Really?
the pandemic.
Hmm.
With 77 million views, Black Widow had 70. Interesting enough, Shang-Chi, there are no view counts out there. So I'm a little worried that underperformed a little for a trailer view count. But the
Hmm.
first trailer was also very, both trailers, I think Eternals and Shang-Chi are just kind of like, here's a thing happening. And I always think the second trailer is the one that gets people hyped most of the times.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Eternals does has Chloe Zhao, Oscar winner. So I think if this came out before the Oscars, this wouldn't have been as strong.
Yeah, for sure. That win carries so much weight.
And you have to say, in a way, the pandemic really turned out well for them.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I personally, if it comes to connections, there's one thing I have to highlight about the trailer that I really like is the way cosmic energy is being portrayed.
Mm.
This golden fleece like element that seems to move naturally, but is also connected to a lot of their abilities. Because that was the thing I was curious about, is how each Eternal has a different ability rather than one person having multiple ones. How they're going to kind of still bring them together as one race, and having the cosmic energy be gold is interesting in two ways. I think there's a connection here with maybe the Aisha's people from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, the
Oh,
golden,
yeah.
because they're artificially created. So it would be interesting if they maybe have been created through cosmic energy, and the Eternals could have a connection with our upcoming Adam, Adam Warlock,
Yeah.
who. So that could be an interesting connection to play with. In general, though, like for me, cosmic energy, we always think of power cosmic. How could this tie to Silver Surfer, who is silver, not gold?
Mm.
Could there maybe be a nice, interesting play here that they're building up to? Because Fantastic Four is happening. That means Galactus, Silver Surfer, this Celestial himself. Maybe there's an interesting thing they're setting up here to play around with the Celestials having this gold cosmic energy, except the World Eater being more towards silver as a counterpoint. There's some cool ideas they could play with here.
I mean, I'm not a fan of the fleece thing.
No?
Uh, yeah, it's like it's not bad by anything, but it's certainly not what I expected their powers to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, maybe because I'm used to the Kirby crackle that that inspired so many of the imagery we see in the MCU. So seeing it turn into like a line is it's still something that I have to get over with. I'm sure they have some cool stuff saved for
Mm-hmm.
the actual movie, but just from the fleeces we saw, the golden fleeces we saw in the trailer, it didn't excite me at all.
Yeah, I can see that. It's very much a unique visual direction for kind of like it's like changing Iron Man's arc reactor beam into green or something, which doesn't fit
Right.
him.
Yeah.
And like the thing, it's interesting if they build up on that. Maybe it turns into the crackle. Maybe it's like the early days. It was like this perfectly controlled element, and then as time goes on, they lose control and it just becomes the crackle we know from the comics. I think there's some interesting things they can do with it.
Mm.
But there's so many questions surrounding this project, and I think like fitting with, oh, this is a trailer. We're gonna have to wait and see what direction they head, and that's gonna be. I think that's the exciting aspect right now. Is can the second trailer really sell us on this?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So we're gonna look. We're excited. Pretty much the next big thing. Loki starts in June. Supposedly there's rumors about a June trailer for Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is interesting considering it's like 6 months out.
I mean, it makes
Seems,
sense. Maybe.
yeah. Sony loves to push out trailers. I hope they don't spoil everything as they usually do. And we'll see how everything continues, but we cannot wait. July, Black Widow, finally, after over a year of wait, it's finally coming. It's going to be exciting next half year, and going to be exciting to continue doing our podcast to discuss everything that's heading our way. So thank you everyone for listening. If you are interested to watch our old episodes, hey, there are 55 of them. Better not miss out. You can watch them on Spotify, Apple, anywhere where your favorite podcast can be found. You can also check out our website, MCUExchange.com, if you want to keep updated on the latest news. And be sure to follow us on Twitter. You can find Charles on.
You find me on Twitter at TFSWilliamLata.
And you can find me at ThatAbel, ThatAberl. And we cannot wait to be here next time. Have a great day, everyone.
Bye.